Welcome to another episode of Sanford Says. This is Lisa Holder, Communications Officer for the City of Sanford. It's been some time since we've been on the show. I've talked about some COVID-19 related updates from the City of Sanford, and we're back. City Hall's been open since June 1st, and I have my first guest with us today, Gui Cunha. Gui is the Tourism Director for Seminole County. Welcome, Gui.
Hello, Lisa. Love being here. Love listening to the podcast. I'm pretty sure I've heard every episode of Sanford Says, so excited to be here.
That's wonderful, and we're so glad that you are here. We're going to be jumping right into the topic of tourism. Tourism is number one in our county. Seminole County is important to us, and all the aspects of what they do for our residents and visitors, and tourism is one of them. Can you give us a tourism update post-pandemic?
Yeah, we're still getting the numbers coming in. It's been a very strong 3-year run that we've been on, breaking our tourist bed tax collections every single year since 2016. So we're riding an extremely high point. Perfect example was 5.8 million was our highest collected fiscal year bed tax, and this is kind of how all the tourism organizations judge how successful they are. It's the bottom line dollar. We had our historical high was 5.8 million, and we were actually trending 2% above that up until the end of February, getting into mid-March. The part that was kind of insane is that mid-March we really saw the effect of COVID-19, and we just saw a total plunge. So from mid-March, the month of March and April, we've got those collections back, and both of them are greater than 50% declines. So this year we're anticipating in all, and this is only because we had a strong showing from October to February, a 35% decline in tax. And next year, because now we're going to see the October to February months that were affected by COVID, we're expecting a 40% decline. That's really going to be our bottom is next fiscal.
Yeah, it seems like that's going to be that way for a lot of the government agencies. And so, but when we refer to tourism specifically, Gui, we're talking specifically about Orlando North, and that is the brand for Seminole County tourism, yes, as you mentioned earlier. And so can you explain to the listeners how that relates? Maybe people don't know how Seminole County government is also in the business of tourism. Can you explain how that?
Yeah, so just to kind of explain the structure there and Orlando North and coming in and receiving that brand and working with that brand new brand that we had, it is not the Seminole County resident brand. That is incorrect. This is specifically for tourists. It's to kind of pinpoint our location and attract the international tourists and the tourists that are outside of our region. Some of the brands around us are Visit Orlando, Experience Kissimmee. Those are all DMOs, and Osceola is much bigger than Kissimmee and Orange County.
What's a DMO? I'm waving my
sorry. Yeah, no, I'm sorry about just throwing out acronyms. Yeah, DMOs are Destination Management Organizations. So that's where we'll have like Greater Miami Beaches will be the DMO for Miami-Dade County. Fort Lauderdale's the DMO for Broward County.
I see.
So it's all the brands.
Now, does every county have one of these types of like branches? Like we have, Seminole County has Orlando North. Now you have to have some sort of destination or attractions, right, in order to have one?
If you are collecting a tourist development tax, and that's the tax you pay when you stay at the hotel. So these taxes are not paid by residents unless residents are staying in our hotels.
Okay.
So when you're collecting those taxes, they fall under a Florida statute. So for you to continue collecting them and collect more of them by having more people stay in the county, by having more hotel rooms, then yes, you want a destination management organization. If you have a convention center, you want a convention and visitors bureau.
Okay.
You know, those are all acronyms that are really simile. You know, they're really similar to each other and at times even interchangeable.
Right, and so we have quite a bit of hotels in our county, and I'm sure we would always want more, right?
Yes, definitely. So that's how you see the tourist development tax increase. So it's not just by the visitors, but the amount of rooms. So for example, for us, we have anywhere between 45 and 50, again, from motels all the way up to hotels, so that we collect tourist development tax from.
Right.
We have 4 full-service properties, 2 in Lake Mary, 2 in Altamont. We don't have any resorts. The majority of our properties are select service, which are like the Courtyard, the Spring Hill Suites, Fairfield. All those types of brands are the majority of ours, 100 room to 120 room. Now, when we look in comparison in Orange County, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of rooms, you know, and then in comparison to them in Osceola, we're talking about tens of thousands of rooms, but we're also talking about tens of thousands of Airbnbs or vacation rentals.
Yeah.
So they also pay into the tourist development tax.
Yes.
So it's 3 totally different identities where Osceola County actually collects the majority of their tourist development tax from vacation rentals. So, 3 neighboring counties, 3 totally different identities.
Interesting. Central Florida is like that, right?
Yes.
But I can, you know, I can speak from experience, though, that Seminole County, we call ourselves a natural choice, and we've been all working from home lately and not going out to places where you have a lot of people, but being more so out in nature and doing things like that. And we have some incredible attractions in terms of like parks and green space. Unbelievable. You don't have to go to the theme parks. You know, you can, but you can make this part of your vacation. But it is honestly the trails, the bike trails, the walking trails really they're just amazing. And to live here as a resident and have that in our backyard is just something else. It is truly, it's just incredible.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. We're the natural choice. We were, we are, we always will be. So that's one of the things. Orlando North, that brand, again, is in no way conflicting with the natural choice.
Right.
Or Florida's natural choice. So,
Florida, yeah.
So that's the big push, is making sure that the Orlando North brand that was rolled out before, and I came in right in the middle of all the confusion.
The rebranding?
Yeah, the rebranding. It was just like, hey, we rebranded, you know, here you go.
What was it before?
It was Visit Seminole County.
Okay.
Visit Seminole.
That's pretty straightforward
yes,
right there.
Yeah.
But, okay.
So for Visit Seminole County, what I saw from the outside looking in was you had a lot of confusion on location.
Yeah.
You know, when you are in Central Florida, you want to show an accessibility to the parks.
Right.
But that's the big push, that Orlando North was really dropping a pin on the location of Seminole County.
Right.
Now, for us, since I've been here, ecotourism is first and foremost amongst all leisure travelers. So for us, where we make our bread and butter is when we're talking about transient leisure travelers, we're really pushing eco above all else. And when we talk about group travel, that's when we're really pushing the complexes and youth sports travel. Right. That the complexes that you've seen built.
Yeah.
So that's where we've really keyed in and honed into that identity and really pushed a regional concept of this 3 to 5 hour drive in markets, and that's where we're really seeing the largest growth that we've ever had.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, think about it, too. If, you know, the theme parks were closed over this past 2 months or more, and if you wanted to visit here with your family, there was still things to do. You know, some of the beaches were closed, but we with proper social distancing, our trails were open, and there's still things to do out in nature. And so But that's good to know. And so Orlando North is the brand, and you have been with them for how long? With Seminole County, Gui?
With 2016.
Since 2016, and you've seen a lot of change.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. It's. I'll tell you one thing. There's never a dull moment in Seminole County.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it here. It's an amazing community. Just our, the way we refer to it in our office is the three pillars of our tourism. Kind of triad, or you can look at it and say, the stool that we have, and that's Sanford, Lake Mary, and Altamont Springs. Okay. Those are the three that we're always making sure. Now, it does not mean that we don't look at Longwood or Oviedo or Castleberry, Winter Springs. No, we just did a shootout at Ryder Park, the first ever shoot that we've done there. But it's making sure that with a rising tide, all boats float. So if we're taking care of our three tourism destinations that we have, every city will benefit from it.
Surely, yeah. And like I hate to keep repeating myself, but those beautiful trails are in Winter Springs. Yeah. Those beautiful trails are throughout our county, Altamont, all of that. The Paint the Trail goes all the way from Lake Mary all the way down to Altamont. So it's wonderful. So yes, you're mentioning destination. So Sanford, yes, is a destination, and we're so proud of all of the wonderful restaurants, the bars, the attractions. We have the zoo here, and we have the river ship. We have the river walk. I'm not going to brag, of course.
Yeah, no.
It sounds like I am, but we have some wonderful things here. A lot of other attractions, theater, all of that, and so it makes for a nice destination for your visitors, right?
And that's the beauty that we're seeing is when we first arrived, you have different cities always want to promote themselves. Altamont is looking at Altamont, Lake Mary, Sanford, but we're starting to see a cohesion between the three because they're three separate identities that really assist each other. So that's the big push that we're seeing. I mean, in Sanford, you can find me during a lunch break or a break kind of hiding out at Louisa's, having my cup of coffee and, just so kind of taking a mental break for a second and seeing, okay, how much further can we push this message? What about this campaign? Countless time over at Sanford Brewery and Wops Hops for lunch. Yeah. That's one of my favorites.
There's so much going. And matter of fact, and I'll do a little plug here. Downtown businesses are doing a Christmas in July event, and so to support our downtown businesses, because that's all kinds. You can eat, drink, shop downtown Sanford, and it's on the city Facebook page. The date, I believe it's the end of July. But check our Facebook page out, and you'll find out about that. But so back to what's the forecast look like for everyone?
So
what do you think?
It's what we're seeing. Again, we really follow Smith Travel Research, Skift, Adara. These are all tourism research agencies, and those are the top, most reputable that we follow. So we are looking at pent up demand for travel, and it's mainly going to come through transient leisure travel from a drive market area. So the beauty is for us, we've always targeted the drive market. So this is playing right into our hands. Okay. And this is also, we've seen some of how we're positioned for a strong rebound in April. When you have a huge destination like Orange County does with Visit Orlando, their TDT, Tourist Development Tax, the bed tax, dropped by 97% in April. It was the lowest they've ever had. We also had the lowest we've ever had, but it was 62% drop. So we see by us continuing to push that ecotourism, that outdoor feel, everyone get outdoors. It's no secret right now that an outdoor destination is viewed as much safer than a destination that's really promoting indoors.
Right.
So for us, that we are seeing that we are in a strong position for a rebound. Now, the rebound, unfortunately, here's the other side of the news. The rebound we really won't see until 2022. So we have to plan accordingly.
Okay.
Now we have to look at how are we marketing, what's the high-yielding destination, where are we making our bread and butter, where's the markets that's most interested in us, and how do we maintain that market share and see if there's even possibilities to grow it there. But for us, transient outdoor adventure seekers, families are number one, top of mind, and the youth sports market. We'll always take care of our complexes and make sure we're driving demand there, because the balance, here's the big key, it's not just visitors, because visitors and demand will give you pricing power. So for us, we also have to mitigate the drop in our average daily rate amongst our hotel rooms. Because from what we've seen in research, when we look back at the Great Recession, occupancy was not, what took longer to rebound was average daily rate, not occupancy.
What is that? What do you mean by average daily rate?
So average daily rate is, we receive a report every month from Smith Travel Research that gives us insights into the trends within the county to our hotels. So occupancy is, how full a hotel is. Average daily rate is what's the average that the rooms are selling for within the county. And then we have RevPAR, or revenue per available room. Those are our top three key performance indicators. Okay. They let you know.
They can fluctuate. You're saying room rates fluctuate.
Oh, extremely. All the time. Yes.
Depending upon, I guess if it's like a busy season.
Yes, seasonality. So August, September, no matter where you go in Florida, are going to be your lowest room rates. Yeah. And January to May or January to April is going to be your peak season. Then you have your shoulder season, which usually goes October to December. Yeah. Okay. So it's understanding the trends there and seeing, if you told me, okay, your occupancy is 70% for the month. Well, if you tell me that for January, what went wrong? If you tell me that for August or September, I'm saying, hey, what went right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's understanding the travel trends. It's understanding the market that you're in. And it's really taking a very deep dive into research.
Yeah. Are you, is Orlando North going to be changing their advertising basically to adjust to these types of changes, and to attract those kinds of visitors?
Yeah. We're ramping up now more than ever. It's going to be family outdoors.
Yeah.
Come to Seminole County. If you're a family, especially we're 60-40 female male, so that's where you want to be, because usually decision makers are the moms in the household. I know in my household, whatever my mom said went.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yes,
yeah, that's another one, right?
Yeah. Take this opportunity to give a shout out to my mom, Maria. Yeah. So it's really catering towards that and seeing where did we get the most engagement. Where did we have the most high yielding results? Yeah. So that's where, and it's doubling down and making sure we maintain that market share. We can't lose that.
Right.
So it's looking for us. It's going to be outdoors, family, and it's going to be from the group side. It's sports.
Yeah, and that's the sports complex, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What's the
Boomba Sports?
Boomba.
Yeah, Boomba Sports Complex, Boomba Soldiers Creek. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the city has the historic Sanford Memorial Stadium, which has those collegiate leagues, the Florida Collegiate League that plays in the summertime too. So it's a great, all around the county is just filled with visitors lots of times across the year. Even through this.
And what we've seen, just travel in general, and this is one of the things that I always stress, is once a decade or sometimes even twice, it's cyclical. When we're riding this incredible high, that 2018, 2019, and then while many people were plateauing, we were actually increasing still at 2% in February. There's always something that hits a bump. Travel's very sensitive.
Yeah.
So whether it's you're really relying kind of on the stability of world governments, you're relying on the stability of world health, you're relying on world economic. So any one of those very sensitive, anytime one of those destabilizes, it really affects travel.
Yeah, and that's all due to air travel, because if you couldn't get from here to London in 5 hours, 6 hours, then, so... You can get anywhere in a blink of an eye these days. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that has a lot to do with it when you talk about the world economy.
Yes.
It's not just in the United States. And when you're in Europe, you're not looking just at the European economy. It's globally. Yeah. So very, very interesting data. Thanks for that, Guy. And what about Main Street? Just real quickly to kind of summarizing what's going on here in our city, right? Yeah. And what we're developing with the Sanford Main Street. Which was your idea? Yeah. You want to share some of that?
Yeah, it's reviving it. And it's again, this is not 100% my. I love that there was an interest in Sanford, to revive the Main Street program. We are seeing the Fed invest in U.S. Main Street, so we know that when we invest in our Main Street, it really it grows the resources. It helps assist in that quality of the Main Street, that there's no decline. It sets a standard. Right. That's the best way to put it.
And it's because Main Street's main goal is to help bring visitors. It's a marketing tool it will be for Sanford.
Yes, 100%. For us, when we look at perfect case scenario, in my opinion, would be to have a Main Street program in our 3 pillars. In Sanford, definitely a perfect destination to start it off because there's already an experience there. But I would love to see it in Lake Mary, and I'd love to see it in Altamont. And if there's any other city there that has an interest and has a destination within its city that's relying on visitor travel, visitor demand, I would highly recommend it. It sets a standard. It connects the county, it connects the city, and it connects the businesses. Wonderful. So with that's kind of where, who better to set the identity of the Main Street than the businesses?
There you go.
And then for the county and city to come in and support it and open up resources, that's just, the perfect case scenario. And that's what we are going to do here in Sanford.
Yes, and you listeners, stay tuned for that because there is a committee right now that's working to move this forward, and we'll share more information as that comes to fruition. So
yeah, and it is one thing I definitely want to make very clear. It is moving forward. Paul Williams, fantastic job. Christina Hollerbach, Troy Anthony, everyone on the board. Perla, everyone's doing a fantastic job, and it is top of mind. And a Main Street is what can help you during a time like COVID-19 specifically.
Right. Yep. So thank you to that. Well, like I said, we'll have more information about Sanford Main Street in an upcoming episode. And then we know that Orlando North just created their own podcast, right?
Yeah, we haven't released it yet, but we have 10 episodes that we're finishing up the edits. And again, Lisa, you were fantastic. You're in Seminole County. You are the podcast godmother because because for you were the perfect resource for us. When we heard Sanford Says, it was amazing. It was great quality. And for us, we're saying, hey, how do we get more travel-related information out there, not only for our residents, but for visitors, for businesses, for elected officials, so everyone can see, this is what's going on in tourism, being that it's such a focal point now more than ever.
Exactly. And with podcasting, we've seen listeners are from all over. You don't have to be in your city or in your viewing audience area. Yeah. So you can actually listen from all over the world, actually. Yeah. So that's great. And thanks for that compliment. No. So, and the name of it is?
The ONSC Podcast. That, again, if you're interested in travel marketing, entertainment, sports, we're going to have, it's a wide variety of guests. We looked at, we've spoken with Dana Young with Visit Florida, Dan Ping, The Bokeh, Larry Metter, Barbara Karasik. It's an infotainment episode, short form, no longer than, 15, 20 minutes.
All right. Well, this episode is close to 25, and we love Guy, and we love our tourism folks in Seminole County, our partners here at the City of Sanford. So is there any last words that you'd like to say?
It's just encouraging all the businesses in Sanford. Like, we're doing everything to get our number one goal for the next 18 months is get demand back. Demand equals jobs. I lost the majority of my family, lost their jobs in Miami-Dade County during this pandemic. So I hear you. I hear you. It hurts. I've had to go through the DEO reemployment application for my mom and dad to make sure it was done correctly. So I know how it feels. Okay. I feel it. So for us, I want everyone to know that in the county for the sports side of it, for the leisure side of it, for everyone in tourism, we know what you're going through. We feel it. It hurts everyone. And we are literally doing everything in our power, and every resource is allocated to driving demand back so we can get these jobs back.
Excellent. And like they say, we are all in this together. So government agencies, public-private partnerships, thank you, Gui. Thank you for being on the show. And this is Lisa Holder, Communications Officer for the City of Sanford. You're listening to Sanford Says. You can find this podcast on wherever you subscribe to your podcasts, and we'll be with you again on a weekly basis now. We'll have more guests for you and some interesting topics, so stay tuned and be well. Thanks for listening.